to Soft Flow. My name is John, and for this hour-long practice, we're going to focus on some light shoulder work, mainly just some release, some stretching, just to kind of work in the three main sections of the shoulder with these stretches. So we've got I'm just going to call it the kind of the lateral part or the outer part of the deltoid here, the rear deltoid, and the front deltoid. Just to help open up those spaces so we can have greater flexibility, more mobility in our arms. Alrighty, so for props, nothing too fancy. Just a blanket if you'd like, something soft to sit on. That might be a blanket or a pillow or something soft, a nice cushion. A bolster is nice. Maybe a couple of blocks if you'd like to use blocks. I mainly just use them to sit on, but also a way to help support our limbs in some postures. And so if you happen to have blocks or something that might resemble blocks, you can use that. So I invite you just to find a comfortable seat. For me, a comfortable seat is sitting in a half lotus position. You don't have to sit like this. Feel free to extend your legs or just one leg. If you happen to be near a wall or something that you want to sit up against, that's fine too. So finding a comfortable seat. Feel free to close your eyes or just soften your eyes. We'll begin our journey. And our journey is inward. So with eyes closed, start to pay attention to your breath. Notice that you are breathing. Just slow, steady breaths. And if you're able, breathing in a way that you can feel your breath move through your body. And as you're able, also listen to the sound of your breath. So if that means turning up the volume of your breath, do so. Deep cleansing breaths. When you breathe in, just feel the lifting and lengthening of your spine. You might sit up a little taller, but also feel your breath rising to fill up your lungs. Nice expansive feeling in your upper body. And as you exhale, engaging your center. So we're drawing the navel inward towards spine, creating a light contraction of the abdominal muscles. This doesn't have to be too strong, just an awareness of your center. So again, as you breathe in, just feel the lifting and lengthening of your spine, breath rising to fill up your lungs. And a slow and controlled exhale, drawing navel inward towards your spine, light contraction. And just maintain these sensations in your body as you're breathing in and out. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths. And we'll shift from our breathing meditation to a moving meditation. A very simple movement. Whenever you're ready to move, and moving at your own breath pace, and inhale to extend your arms out across the room. So there's an effort of extending your arms, reaching out and up into the air as high as you can, how high as you like. And as you exhale, spread your wings, reaching outward across the room. Let your arms come down by your side. Very slowly, just again, moving at your own breath pace. And start a new round of breath when you're ready. And inhale to extend your arms out, reaching with effort across the room, finishing the inhale, finishing the movement. Then exhale, draw navel inwards towards your spine, connecting to your center, a light engagement of the abdominal lock, that light contraction. Just continue to flow just as you are, moving out, moving up, moving with breath. and seeing and feeling the breath move you. See if the breath can move you. Sometimes we do the opposite. We move, then breathe. See if you can start the movement with breath. Breath comes first. In the slow motion, we're already beginning this light work on our shoulders. So notice what you might be feeling in your shoulders. Also, as you extend your arms into the air, notice the lengthening through the sides of your body. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on, and take 2 more breaths. When you feel complete, just let your arms and hands maybe just rest in your lap or down by your side so that everything can now relax. Maybe feel the shoulders after they've been engaged in movement and now soften in stillness. From here, just take your hands and lean back into your hands. You might spin your fingers away from you, gently lean back into your hands. You'll press into the mat just to feel the torso lift a little bit, heart opens, and even tip your chin up slightly. You're just creating a mild back bend. With the arms behind you, you may also feel that your shoulders are behind you. I like to say that your shoulders in this placement are behind your heart. Your shoulders are behind your heart, just so you have this heart opening. So again, you'll press into the mat, feel the torso rise, take a nice full breath in to fill up your lungs. Very expansive, and as you exhale, draw navel to spine, and as you're able, squeeze shoulder blades together behind you. So there is some motion, some action in your upper back. It also creates stability in your body because we're engaging the upper back and the low belly. So in the front and back, we are supporting ourselves. Continue with a few more breaths and inhale to feel the heart rise, lungs expand. And your exhale, navel to spine, squeezing shoulder blades together. We're already also still working with shoulders. In this case, the front deltoids, getting a nice release, a nice opening. Kind of separating from the pectoral region that tends to get a little tight on us. Take 1 more breath in and out. And when you're complete, you can just lower your chin, walk your hands towards yourself, just to rise up to a full lengthened spine, nice and tall. Let's go ahead and inhale, extend the arms out and up, reach into the sky. And an exhale just to bring your arms back down by your side, and we'll complete that flow. Letting the shoulders relax, your arms, your hands. Even taking a moment, taking a breath and noticing how you feel. So our next pose is a forward fold. You might want to change your leg posturing here. We'll come to a seated cobbler's pose. So you might have the soles of the feet touch here with knees bent. And this is where you might want to use some support, like from a block on either side of you or a stack of books. Especially if the knees are a little high here, we can take a book or a block and just tuck them underneath here so your legs can literally just rest. They don't feel like they're just hanging there. Yeah, there you go. And they can just literally just rest on your blocks. Even if you are flexible and the legs go pretty far down, you can still just tuck something underneath. It might just be a folded blanket on either side of you. You can hold on to your feet or toes or your ankle or shins. Just want to be in a place where you can easily sit up nice and tall initially. We'll inhale to grow even taller, lengthening through the spine. As you exhale, draw belly in and start hinging from the hips, leading with your heart and your chin just a little bit forward, just a tiny bit. So we still have maintained the lengthened spine at this first gradual motion. Breathe in again, more length in the spine and torso. Exhale, pull belly in, hinge forward a tiny bit more. Your back may still be flat, Hold there for a couple more breaths. When we keep the back lengthened in this fashion, we get a little bit more release in the inner thighs. We're getting a nice hip opener here too. Now, if you decide you want to go a little further, continue that very slow progression. So the movements aren't big. What is big is the breath. So a nice breath in, a strong breath out, but the movement is very minimal. So we're not shocking the body. We're really trying to provide support through the body, and that's the breath. And with great support, then we can easily move. Now your back might begin to round, your head might dip down a little bit. So there is a curvature in the spine that might occur. I'm just going to turn sideways for a moment. So just so you can see, at first the back might be nice and long and flat, but as you continue to go forward and downward, the head drops and your back might round a little bit. And wherever you are, just take several breaths. Two more breaths. And while you're taking these breaths, just notice if your back did round in this posture. If it did, we'll start to re-extend the spine by lifting your head, just looking out in front of you. And we'll just hinge our way back up until we're nice and tall in our seat, just returning to that initial pose, our cobbler's pose. Hold for a moment. All right, let's remove or just set our props to the side. We're going to come to our hands and knees. And if you need something soft underneath you, you might want to use a blanket just for extra cushioning if you need it, for your knees and your wrists. Maybe something like this, especially if you happen to be practicing on a hardwood floor. Your mat might be soft, but just to add another level, another layer of cushioning, this is nice. So we're going to inhale and look forward with a little opening of the chest. We arch the back, tipping the pelvis back a bit. This is cow. As we exhale, we round it all out. Draw chin to chest. Belly button pulls up towards spine. Feel the curvature of the spine and tucking tailbone underneath. Pelvis tucks in. Inhale to reverse it. Pelvis tips back. The belly will drop. Heart opens. Look forward. Exhale. Round it all out. And again, even those movements don't have to be too big. That back bend and that rounded sensation can be minimal. You can move slowly. Again, just moving with your own breath pace. And with this movement, we get a nice undulation of the spine. A nice release in the low back with that pelvic rock that's happening. This also affects the shoulders. Even though the arms are not in motion, the torso is. And so that certainly does affect what our shoulders are doing. Finish the breath that you're on and take two more. After your second breath, no rush, just come to a neutral position, just holding still for a moment in this tabletop posture. Get ready for our next pose. If you happen to be using some padding, like the blanket, you might want to crawl off that blanket and just set it to the side. Keep it handy if you want to use it again later. And before a head rest a little bit later, return to your hands and knees, our tabletop posture. We'll get set for downward facing dog. So you'll step your hands forward. So your hands are out from underneath the shoulders. Spread out your fingers pretty wide as you step the hands forward so you can feel a stretch in your between each finger. And then root or press your palms into the mat. You might lean into it a little bit. Just press so your palms are flat. You're getting a nice stretch, opening the palms. And as you're pushing, your arms get a little straighter and a little stronger. Even feel them squeeze gently inward towards each other. Just feel that good energy. Go ahead and tuck your toes. You're going to inhale to a mini cow pose, a little minor back bend by looking forward, a slight arch in the back.
Exhale, round it all out into a mini cat pose. Hold that sensation with the belly button pulling up towards spine. And then lift your knees off the mat and send your hips up into the air. And this should guide you into downward facing dog. A little tiptoe forward. You can keep a good bend in the knees as the hips continue to lift. Hands press into the mat. Be aware of how this feels. Take a breath in and out. Take another breath in, and as you exhale, look at the space between your hands and start walking or stepping up into that space. You might take several steps. You might need to rise up onto your fingertips until your feet are underneath you and you're in a deep forward fold initially. From here, inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs so you can extend your spine so we're kind of parallel to the ground like so. We're going to exhale and slowly fold again. Now, you don't have to fold all the way down, maybe just partially. Hands might just be resting at your shins, maybe touching your toes if your knees are bent a little bit more. You can certainly release this. Let your arms just kind of hang forward and thinking about our shoulders again, just getting some good mobility and flexibility. Let them shake out. Hang heavily forward and create some big circles if you can with your shoulders, with your arms. Roll them backward, roll them forward. And don't forget there's a tie-in from shoulders right up into your neck. So maybe releasing that space by shaking your head gently. Nod yes and no. Shake them left and right. And then from here, start to shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees, let your hips drop like you're sitting down. Look forward to help extend spine. Take your arms out to the side, spreading your wings. Press firmly into the mat with your feet to help straighten your legs. Standing up and then reaching into the air. Good extension there at the top. And exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Let's just take a moment in our first standing position. Take a few breaths in and out. I'm just going to move through that simple sequence again. That's our half salute where we fold and make our way back up, moving with intention. Take your time with any and all of this. Here we go. Inhale, extend your arms into the air, reach high. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back as if there was a chair behind you, slowly coming down. As your belly gets close to your thighs, you let your hands drop, maybe your head drops. Maybe touching toes, or again, hands are at your shins. Then inhale, sliding your hands back up to your knees or thighs, extending your spine. From the long tabletop, exhale, we'll fold carefully down. Shifting weight back into the heels. Bend your knees, let the hips drop. Arms out to the side. Drive heels into the floor to straighten the legs. Standing up tall, reaching into the air. Now this exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Just out and down. And when we finish here with the arms down, just spin the palms forward. So we're standing in this version of mountain pose. Now standing like this also helps with shoulders as far as our posture. With the arms kind of spinning out, which is called an outer rotation or outer spiral, it rolls the shoulders back so we get a nice opening up through this front deltoid area that's tied into the pectoral muscles there. This just helps with posture. So it's a nice way just to stand, mountain pose, palms forward. So take a few more breaths like that. We're going to continue our flow and move into our lunge sequence. When you're ready, inhale, sweep the arms out and up into the air. Some nice mobility through your shoulders. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the seat. Take your time. Hands drop, your head drops to a natural curvature in the spine. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs. Feel the top of your head come directly forward. Now this exhale, bend your knees quite a bit, folding, bending. So you can bring your palms to the ground and then start to walk or step both of your feet back to the back end of your mat until you're in a high push-up position or plank pose. Holding for strength here. Some added pressure into the mat with the hands is adding also some strength in the shoulders. Breathe in. As you exhale, bend your knees a little. Send your hips up and back behind you. Once again, we're returned to a downward facing dog. Keeping those fingers wide, just check in with your hands and be spreading out your fingers if they need to be spread out. Press palms firmly into the ground, strong hands, feel the arms straighten. Bend the knees a little bit more, and as you're able, a gentle sinking sensation of your chest towards the floor or even towards your toes. So take a look at your toes if you can, and feel like your heart, your chest is moving in that direction. Now this does open the chest. It also affects the shoulders a little bit. If the shoulders feel like they're pinched in this fashion, you may want to come out of this feeling. Send your upper back forward a bit. Let's continue. We're going to inhale, extend right leg up behind you. It doesn't have to lift high at all. Just reach back behind you. Exhale, bend your right knee. Bring the right knee in underneath you, shifting your body weight forward until your shoulders over your wrists, then setting the foot between the hands. Now, if you didn't make it because you're moving so slowly, you're going to set the left knee onto the ground, reach back to pick up the right foot, and just step it up near the fingers, near the hand. Relift that back knee. If the weight is forward like mine is at the moment, we're shifting the weight back. So the hips pull back towards the back edge of your mat. That should allow you to rise up a little bit to your fingertips. That just means that you don't need the weight on your hands anymore. Also, we're extending the spine. Hold here for a moment. Now you're going to bring one hand and then two hands up to your thigh. As you push into your thigh, you can lift up to about 45 degrees. Now the spine is still long, which is what we want. Let's add a little bit more energy to the pose. Feel the left heel push back like it's trying to press down into the ground. Energizing that back leg and anchoring ourselves. We're squeezing the inner legs towards each other, even though they're separated. Feel like they're moving in towards center. And then pull belly button in towards spine. We're just stabilizing this lower half of the body. Then sweep your arms out to the side. Rise up, reach up until we're in a high lunge position. So we're reaching up, reaching for the ceiling, and we're lunging a little bit deeper. Let's breathe in. And as you exhale, we're going to turn that back heel to the floor. You'll turn sideways and your arms will come down to parallel into a warrior two. So we're just going to reach across the room. This also takes some endurance strength in the shoulders, being able to hold your arms up as they are. Stay right where you are. You're going to change this just a little bit. You're going to spin the palms up. Let the elbows bend. So we might look something like this. That might take some of the tension off the shoulders. And while we're here, go ahead and start bringing your elbows in towards your low ribs. And down and in, something like this. You're going to feel this more in your back. But because the arms are slightly behind us, it rolls the shoulders back a little bit, opening up through the front deltoids again. We're going to go ahead and re-extend the arms, let the hands spin downward so they're facing the floor. Now reach out over the right leg there, angled upper body. We're going to bend this right arm at 90 degrees, tip so you can bring the forearm and let it rest on your thigh. And your left hand reaching up into the air initially. And feel as if you're reaching for the ceiling. Stay right where you are. We're going to change that as well. We're going to bring this left hand down behind you, and maybe just to your low back. It might be here. I'm just going to call this the default. You could just put your left hand on your left hip. It'll take some tension, if there is any, on the shoulder. We'll take it off the shoulder by placing it here. You're certainly welcome to go the other direction, maybe bringing this left hand around your body to touch or hold on to your right thigh. That's a deeper sensation. But the low back is fine. If you can, see if there's some mobility in the shoulder, or we can do these little circles. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm just kind of circling my shoulder back. And just kind of loosening up in that area with the hand behind me. Then we'll inhale, let's re-extend the left arm up into the air, another reopening. We'll exhale to turn towards the floor, carefully bend, to bring your palms to the mat, press strongly into the ground. Let's lift that back heel, So you're on your toes, we're in a runner's lunge, firm hand press into the mat, slide or step the right foot back into plank pose. More strength for the arms and shoulders in this posture. Then a slight bend in the knees, hips into the air for downward facing dog. Let's do the same thing as we did earlier. If it feels okay, spread your fingers out a little wider, press palms flat into your mat, push gently. Take a peek at your toes and let your chest and heart move toward your toes, opening up through the chest and perhaps some opening in the shoulders. If that's too much, soften it up. Send your body forward towards your hands a little bit. Then inhale, extend your left leg up into the air, reaching back. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting your body weight forward. We'll set the left foot down between the hands. Again, I didn't make it, so if that was you, set your right knee onto the floor. Let's pick up the left foot and just place it up a little higher. We're ready for our lunge. Let's relift that back knee. If the weight is forward because your palms are on the mat, we want to shift the weight back. Pull the hips back toward the back edge of your mat so you can easily rise to fingertips. We're just changing the center of gravity so it's more in the center of our bodies. Then bring one hand, then two up to your thigh, mid-thigh, not your knee, but right in the middle of the thigh. Strong muscle. Press and lift up to about 45 degrees. Anchoring that back heel by pushing back. Feel the calf engage back there. Squeeze inner thighs towards each other. And don't forget to pull belly in for extra support. With the breath in, extend the arms out and up, reach up into the air. Keep reaching up. You might even lift a little bit out of the lunge, but as you exhale, just sink into the lunge a little bit. Let's breathe in. You might lift out of that lunge a little. So we can exhale and open out to our warrior two. Right heel comes to the floor. You'll turn sideways. Arms come down to parallel, reaching out for your warrior two. Feel the tension, because there might be some tension in your shoulders with the arms extending as they are. And imagine if you had to hold this for a long period of time, how tired your shoulders might become. Now let's go ahead and spin the palms up. It releases the shoulders a little bit, especially if you put a little bend in the elbows. You can do this anytime you come to a warrior two if this is a little bit too much for the shoulders. Do this instead. To activate the back body, let's bring the elbows in towards those little ribs, kind of behind you a little bit. A little squeeze back there to engage those muscles. And notice if that help actually opens your front body a bit too, especially in that shoulder pec area. Let's go ahead and re-extend the arms out, spin the palms downward towards the ground. Now start reaching out over your left thigh to angle the upper half of the body. We'll bend this left arm at 90 degrees. Rest it gently on mid-thigh. Then we'll swing this right hand up into the air. Once it's there, really reach up. Some more action for that shoulder. And then bring right hand down to your low back. So it's just basically a bend of the elbow, bringing the hand down, maybe to low back or your right hip. Or if you wanted to go a little further, even just testing to see how far you can actually reach. Maybe your fingers touching your left thigh. I'm going to keep my hand at my low back. Hopefully there's some mobility, maybe a little mobility in that shoulder where you can create circles with it. So use more circles with that shoulder. Then we'll inhale to re-extend the right arm up into the air. And your exhale to turn towards the floor. Carefully bend so you can bring your palms down to the mat. Let's rise up onto the tiptoes behind, so we're in a runner's lunge. Push firmly into the mat with the hands, strong arms, so we can slide or step the left foot back, having returned to our plank pose for strength. Push into the ground strongly. Hold for a couple more breaths. Then we're going to bring the knees to the floor. We're going to take a seat. So I'm just breaking it down. So we're just bringing the knees down. You might even sit back briefly into hero. But slide off the heels onto the mat and swing the legs around to the front.
Now here, just want to find another comfortable seat, just like how we did at the beginning of our practice. So if you want to sit on a blanket or a bolster or something, just to prop yourself up, that's great. Or even if you want to extend a leg out like so, just something comfortable. I'm going to face you initially, but I might turn so you can see another perspective of this next movement. Basically, we're going to start kind of working now the rear deltoid, or the back part of the shoulder, for a little pull and a little stretch. We're going to do, if you're familiar with eagle pose is a balancing posture with the leg crossed, and it's also with the arms crossed. We're just going to do the arm position since we're focusing on the upper body. All right, I'm going to try to mirror you, okay? So let's extend the arms out to the side. Once again, reaching out like so. Now you're going to bring the arms forward or reach out through your fingertips out in front of you. You're going to drop your left arm so it's lower than the right. I'm mirroring you. And then cross the arms at the elbows if you're able, okay? Spin the palms up. And then bend the elbows and just lift the hands into the air like that. That's it, right there. And so that right elbow is kind of sitting in a hammock on the other arm. You can stay just like this, but if you're able, keep wrapping the arms, kind of like you're braiding your arms and just let them twirl around each other. If that doesn't work, maybe just touch or hook on to thumbs or fingertips, whatever you can do, because mainly you've already have done the crossing sensation. Right there. Now I'm going to turn sideways. All right, so if we're in this pose, elbows certainly in front, which pulls the shoulders forward, which starts to broaden the back, upper back, and pulls slightly in the rear deltoid. To add a little bit more sensation, as you're able, don't force this if you can't do this, lifting the elbows a little bit up so there may be at shoulder level, and then send the elbows forward. That just brings the shoulders forward. Breathing a couple more times, knowing that if you need to release this at any time, please do so. I'm going to add one more sensation, which is just a little fold, just coming down a little bit. And this coming down sensation is just so we can be a little bit more aware of our backs. So I'm going to ask you to inhale and see if you can breathe fully and deeply into your upper back region. Feel it expand. Exhale. 2 more times. This can be a very intense sensation in the shoulders. We're not going to hold it too long. We're going to rise back up. Let's unwrap the arms. Reach out to the side, extending outward, and just bring the arms down by your side here. And then some big circles here just to release any tension. So you might roll them backward like this. You might roll them forward. Even feel free to add a little bit more. If you feel like you need to bring the hands back and kind of stretch open the chest like we did earlier, or even bring the arms across the body. This is nice because you can kind of play with the different angles. You can go straight across or even down and across the body. So again, we're kind of getting into that outside portion and rear deltoid, okay? So just go ahead and play with some of that if it feels okay. As we're just kind of getting ready for the next, the other side for our eagle arms. And when you feel complete, come to a restful seat with the arms and hands just resting in your lap. Take a breath. Just go ahead and re-extend the arms out to the side, right there. So again, just putting a little tension in the arms. Then reach forward, reaching out with your fingertips. I'm going to drop the right arm so it's lower than the left. Cross the arms at the elbows there. Spin the palms up. Yeah, then lift the hands. And again, this could be the end of the pose. This is enough really, because we've drawn the shoulders forward. But if you can move a little further into that full expression of the eagle arms, you can wrap it all up or just hook fingers. Hold there. Take a breath. Then as you're able, maybe lifting elbows so they're level with the shoulders. If they're not, that's okay. Send the elbows forward. They may barely move. They may not move at all. But again, we're just emphasizing some opening, some stretch in the upper back. Now we're going to lean forward. Even just a little bit is fine. So we can pay attention to the back body. We put some focus there and try to breathe into it with a full breath in. Like you're filling up the back side of your lungs, the upper region of the back side of your lungs. As you exhale, you might even engage your belly just so you can hold your balance in this position. 2 more breaths. And whenever you're ready, we're going to rise back up. Let's unwrap the arms, reach out to the side, and then down by your side. And just notice that tension release. And then you can get into the relief part. Just circle the shoulders. Backward, forward. Any other movements like leaning back or crossing the arms one at a time in front of you. So hopefully gaining a little bit more mobility in the arms just from those various poses. And when you're finished with movement, just coming back to that neutral seated posture, arms resting in your lap. One more breath. All right, slowly transitioning. We're going to come out of our seat. We're going to come back to hands and knees. So maybe coming off of your object that you might be sitting on. And come to hands and knees. Let's go back to our cat and cow. 3 breaths. So inhale to look up, arching the back slightly. Exhale, round it out. And again, just like we said earlier, even though the arms aren't really moving, your torso is in motion, so it does affect the shoulders in a good way. And of course, your back with this nice undulation of the spine. Take the final breath here, and as you exhale, just come back to a neutral position. Let's get set up for our lunging sequence again. We're going to step the hands forward slightly. Again, spread out your fingers, press palms into the mat. Strong press into the ground for strong arms. Tuck your toes. Inhale, look up slightly for a mild cow pose. Exhale, round it all out for a mild cat. Hold that sensation. Lift your knees, then your hips into the air. We're not going to worry too much about that sinking chest. We're going to move right away. Inhale, extend your right leg up, reaching back, straight as can be. Exhale, bend that right knee, shifting body weight forward, bringing knee in underneath you towards your chest, setting foot down between the hands. Make that adjustment if you need to. Left knee comes down, right foot steps forward, picking it up. Relift the left knee, shifting body weight away from the hands so you can easily rise to fingertips, extending the spine. Then hands up to your thigh. We're still breaking this down. Nice long spine at this 45-degree angle. Activate the left heel as an anchor. Legs squeeze in. Belly is tight. Inhale, extend the arms out and up. Reach into the air. And then exhale, automatically or immediately moving into your warrior 2. Left heel comes down to the floor. Opening the body, arms extend. Let's reach out over the right thigh. Maybe bending this right arm, letting it rest lightly on the right leg as the left arm reaches up into the air. As you're able, follow the left arm over your head, reaching towards the same direction as your right set of toes. Reach. Breathe in. Exhale, turn your body towards the floor. Carefully bend to bring your palms to the mat. Lift that back heel for a runner's lunge. Push strongly into the ground with the hands, strong arms, sliding right foot back plank. Bend knees slightly, hips into the air.
our return to down dog. So we're just moving with breath, fluid motions. Inhale, extend left leg up, reach back. Exhale, bend your left knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting body weight forward, stepping through. Pause if you need to, setting right knee down, picking up left foot, placing it up top. Right knee lifts, shifting hips back, rising to fingertips to help extend spine, paying attention to your body, hands up to thigh and lifting up a little higher, long torso, angled upper body. Right heel presses back for our anchor, squeeze to inner thighs, belly pulls in for low body control. Extending arms out to the side, reaching up. Inhale, reach for the ceiling, and the exhale immediately opening to our warrior two. That back heel drops to the ground, arms come out to parallel, reach. Let's follow the left arm forward, reach out. Let's bend the left elbow, bring it down to the left thigh. As you sweep this right arm up into the air, and as you're able, over your head, reaching over the front edge of your mat, extension. Let's take a breath in. Our exhale to, again, return to the floor carefully, bending to place palms on the mat. Relift that back heel. Hands press firmly into the floor, sliding left foot back. We're going to hold this plank a few seconds longer. Bend your knees a little, send hips into the air. Our return to down dog. Once you're in down dog, take a look at the space between your hands. And then start walking your way up into that space. You might need to rise to fingertips, bend the knees, the back will round, feet underneath you. Deep forward fold. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs. We're going to hold on the exhale. We're going to stay here at this half forward fold. And in this tabletop posture, with hands on thighs perhaps, can you roll the shoulders back and perhaps squeeze shoulder blades together to hold them back behind you? Because we have gravity working against us. Gravity wants to drop the shoulders towards the ground. We're resisting that by engaging the back muscles, which also includes those rear deltoids, to lift the shoulders and squeeze them back. Now lean back into the heels, bend your knees a bit more, sweep the arms out to the side. Let's stand up, reach into the air. Stay where you are. I'm just turning away from you because you're going to exhale and bring your arms down by your side. And once they come down, you're going to reach behind you, like so. So maybe you're reaching like to the back corners of your mat, open palms, really reaching. And even squeeze inward as if so it feels like maybe you're holding on to a box behind you. And once again, we're getting a nice opening in the front deltoid area. We're going to add one more thing here if you're able. Now you can keep the hands just as they are, or interlace your fingers. And feel the knuckles reach down towards your heels, maybe straightening the arms. It's okay if the elbows don't, or if it doesn't matter if the arms stay bent there, that's fine. Roll shoulders back as you're able, because it might allow you to squeeze those shoulder blades together a bit more. 2 more breaths. Just a little bit more opening in the front deltoids here. We're going to release if the fingers are folded. Let's together move with an inhale. Reach into the air. We're going to flow. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back, and carefully fold forward. Just going to make our way down to the ground. Inhale, rise up halfway. This exhale, bend your knees enough to place your palms on your mat and your walk back into plank pose. Hold for a moment, nice straight line in the body. Soften the knees, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. If you like, you can get a little extra sink of the chest. And then we'll bring knees to the floor. Okay, we're gonna lie down on our back. So you might just sit back, just as you transition to hero, slide off the heels onto the ground, swing the legs around to the front, and scoot so you can sit in the center of your mat here.
And we're gonna lie down. Feel free to use any padding like a blanket for your head if you'd like. And just come on down. We're gonna lie down with knees bent and feet flat on the floor. We are moving into a bridge pose. You can do this with the support of blocks or a bolster or something with a little bit of height, because you can sit on your props. You're gonna inhale deeply to fill up your lungs while you're lying here. Exhale, empty your belly, even feel your low back if you can, press into the ground. Once you're there, press feet firmly into the ground to lift your hips off of the ground. Again, you can stay just like this, just supporting yourself in the air, or if you want the support of blocks or any prop, bring your blocks underneath you and just literally sit on the blocks. Then we're gonna do a little bit more opening in the shoulders. If you can, just a simple rocking of the body left and right a little bit, and as you're doing so, you're trying to get the shoulders underneath you. Okay, so I'm just rocking to the left to get the right shoulder underneath, rocking to the right to get the left shoulder underneath. Just a little bit, squeezing shoulder blades together. Now the arms can stay long and flat on the ground, or bend the elbows at 90 degrees. Press into the floor with the elbows to feel a little bit more opening up through the chest, which may also allow you to squeeze shoulder blades together behind you. Now, if you're not using any blocks to sit on, maybe lift your hips enough and use your hands to help lift yourself up if you'd like. A couple more breaths. If you are sitting on a set of blocks, press into the floor with your feet to lift your hips. Let's remove the objects out from underneath. Maybe wiggle your toes forward a little bit. Extend your arms straight up into the air. This just creates some good space in your back body so you can come all the way down to the ground. Bring your arms down by your side and extend your legs out in front. So we're almost in Shavasana, but not quite yet. We're going to do one more thing here. Now with the hands, you're just going to hold onto your shoulder. So your right hand will come up to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. And whatever arm you crossed first, just notice what arm is on top. So basically, you're just giving yourself a hug. We'll squeeze here. Two more breaths. And since the arms are in front, shoulders are in front. So that means we're affecting the shoulder, the back end of the shoulders. We're going to uncross the arms and we reach up into the air, then recross them the other way. And give yourself another hug. Just a couple more breaths. And go ahead and re-extend the arms up into the air, uncrossing the arms. Reach behind you. And as you reach behind, maybe even activate your feet and legs so it feels like you're stretching or moving your body in these opposite directions. Another breath in. As you exhale, just bring both knees into chest. Maybe one at a time, just hug one knee in, then the second knee, catch them with your hands. Let's just do a quick twist. We'll start by taking the knees over to the left side. Extend your right arm to the right side. This certainly just takes some of the focus off of the shoulders, but now just kind of wrapping up our practice together by getting into a light twist. Just notice where you have sensation, nice opening through the hips perhaps.
And that rotation in the torso. One more breath in and out. When you're ready to bring knees back up to center, you might pause there for a second or two, and then take knees down to the other side. Same thing. And take 2 more breaths. And when you feel complete, you can bring your knees back up to center. You can extend your legs straight out in front of you. Arms can remain down by your side. And just moving into Shavasana. So just take a nice long meditative position. Feel free to stay just like this or use props as you'd like to help support your body in any way. Sometimes it's not comfortable to lie flat on your back. You might want to just bend your knees and just lie like this, or even prop up your body in some fashion. Maybe it's your upper body with a blanket or a bolster, or maybe you want to elevate your feet, even bringing in a chair perhaps and just resting your legs, your bent knees on a chair. That's nice. Or just a bolster underneath the legs, under bent knees. Anywhere you are, just want to be able to release completely, relax, and just melt into the ground. You might notice your breath, maybe taking a few deep breaths in and out, and then really just softening it up. You might even forget that you are breathing. Stay exactly where you are. Just notice your breathing. Just return to the awareness of your breath. Still lying in stillness, comfortable and at ease.
Continue to notice your breath. Perhaps beginning to bring a little more energy and awareness to your breathing. An intentional inhale, slow and deep, and the intentional exhale. Mindful breath, perhaps deep cleansing breaths. And as you're beginning to be more aware of your own breathing, feel the breath move through your entire body. Allow it to circulate fully and freely through you. Take 5 more breaths. Take 5 more breaths. And as you're slowly breathing and approaching your 5th breath, prepare your body to move. It might start with just a simple movement of your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet. Just feel that movement start to flow through your body. At the end of your 5th breath, carefully and slowly start rolling onto either side of your body. If you're able, moving in slow motion, rolling to one side, just pausing in this nurturing pose. Still aware of your breath, perhaps even noticing how you feel. Taking another full breath in and out, again generating motion in your body. And with that, press yourself up to a seated posture, moving with intention. Take your time. Perhaps returning to a comfortable seated position, just as we began our practice. Maybe, even though it's the same posture, maybe you're feeling differently than you did when you started. Notice that. What changed within you? What shifted? You can just let your arms and hands rest in your lap, or feel free to bring your hands to heart center. Wherever you are, just taking a nice full breath in and a complete breath out. Holding in stillness, breathing gently. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.